So we are live, Sam.
Okay,
Good morning. Just want to continue on the third session of employment, unemployment issues in India with some of the bright minds in India, along with Sam Pitroda in the Sense with Sam series. Go ahead, Sam.
thank you, Sean. First of all, once again, thank you all for organizing this, and thank you for taking interest in some of these larger issues. We talked about employment during last session, and we all collectively felt that we need one more session, and later on, we can move on to leadership, which is also an important topic for a lot of the young people. Just to recap some of the things we discussed earlier, young team talked about their concerns, which basically related to employment, minority, misinformation, economy, trust because of citizenship issues in Assam. We discussed that. Youth lost in terms of trying to figure out what to do, how to do it. And then we also talked about East India Company and how that mindset still continues in the business world, where people believe in big multinationals. Everybody wants to be big overnight. Everybody wants to be a unicorn. Everybody wants to go to stock market, create valuation, and everybody is interested in hyping things up. And as a result, young people, after their graduation, after their training, want to go work for multinationals and big companies. And these big companies are only focused predominantly on maximizing shareholder values and not worrying about stakeholders. We talked about the fact that stakeholders would include many more who really don't benefit as much as the shareholders and the top executives benefit from profits. 90% of the profits in most of the companies go back to shareholders, and 10% of the profits go to stakeholders. It should be the way around. So, in this kind of an environment, naturally, the opportunities for young are limited because they are constantly looking at taking a job and not focused on creating a job. So, we talked a little bit about creating a job, and I want to focus more on that today. Okay. Creating a job requires a little bit of security, and job doesn't mean the same thing to everybody. It has different meanings to different people depending upon your upbringing, your social status, your education. Some people strongly believe that they want to go work for the government because of their family background and all. More security, more pension. Some people strongly believe that you want to go work for military because that's the background they come from and they want to serve the nation. They want to be on the front line or in the system. Some people want to be teachers. Some want to be health workers. So you have one group of people who really look at based on their own background, and you have another group of people who want to explore new frontiers and they really don't know. As I said earlier, most of the parents in India want their children to be doctors, engineers, and make a lot of money. In the process, don't allow their children to explore their own interest, which could be art, craft, writing, and sometimes it is difficult to make living out of these things. And as a result, people look for security. So today, let us focus more on not taking jobs from somewhere. We can do that also later on. But first, let's focus on how to create new jobs. What does it take to create new jobs? And when I look at you all on the screen and your background, your energy, I very strongly feel that each one of you represent an entrepreneur in your part of the world. Each one of you can create hundreds and hundreds of jobs. It'd be silly for you to take one job away in some multinational and get stuck and not explore your full potential. So first thing is you got to have confidence in yourself, saying, I am born to create jobs for others. I'm not born to take jobs away from somebody, because that will be for somebody else. Why would I take job away? I'm capable, I'm blessed, I have good family background, I have good education, I have good healthy body. I need to really create jobs. And if I don't take risk at this early age, when would I take the risk? You can't take the same risk in your 20s that you can take in 30s and 40s, because pretty soon most of you will get married and will have children and family, and then your risk taking ability goes down a little bit, because you got to worry about a lot of other things, and which is natural. Okay, you got to pay rent, you got to pay fees, you got to you know uh, put food on the table and all that stuff. But when you are young and yourself, you can afford to take some risk. So this is the time for the young people to create jobs. There are really 4 or 5 types of main jobs that one could think of. So on one hand, you categorize everything into 5 jobs. On the other hand, every field has hundreds of job titles. There are 100 job titles in manufacturing, in services, in hospitality industry, in government, in factory, in agriculture. Just in finance, you could have 100 titles of different financial jobs. You know, from banker to you name it. Okay. So the 5 categories of jobs that I'm talking about relate to one, a thinking job, where somebody conceives of an idea. Okay. The idea could be about product, service, mathematical formula, algorithm, software. But someone has to think first, saying, this is what is going on in the market, and this is what I can do to add value. I can add value to agriculture. I can add value to entertainment. I can add value to sports. I can add value to all kinds of things. Okay. And I'm going to be really the creator. So that's one kind of job, is a creator, whether it is related to fashion, cosmetics. You may decide to create, I was talking to my granddaughter, she's 13, and for last 2 years, is working on creating a business on the side, because she's now just getting into teenage, and she's hung up on all these, cosmetic products and all that. I'm sure she'll get over that phase. But, she wants to create a business of taking herbal products and creating cosmetics for only teenagers. Yeah. The point is, her mind is working now. Okay, she may do it, she may not do it. What she's doing now may be helpful to her when she's in 30s. But that mind has to begin. So you must train yourself to think of a thinking machine which is constantly looking at new opportunities. I tell you, if I had an opportunity, I would file maybe one patent a day, because I see so many things that need improvement. Okay, everything needs something different. Okay? So you train your mind to really look for opportunities. That's one kind of job, is thinking jobs. Another kind of job is to think of a selling job. That whatever you make, I will sell. I'll sell bricks, I'll sell satellites, I'll sell shoes, I will sell shirts, I'll sell hotel rooms, I'll sell uh, vacation package. Okay, you give it to me and I'll sell it. Okay, that's another kind of mindset. Setting, I'm not interested in finding a product, but I'm interested in selling a product. You give it to me and I'll go convince people that this is the greatest thing ever happened. Okay. Third kinds of jobs are I'll build it. That you come up with an idea, my friend knows how to sell it, I will build it. I'll get all the material, I'll get the human resource, I'll train people, and I will build it for you. Okay. Fourth kind of job is I'll maintain it for you. Whatever you build, I'll make sure that it will survive for 25, 30, 50 years. I'll maintain it for you. I will learn how you build. I'll learn how to fix it. I'll learn what can go wrong. Okay. And most of the jobs, according to me, fit into these 4 or 5 categories. Okay. Doesn't matter whether it is a service industry or it is a manufacturing industry. Someone is going to think, someone is going to sell, someone is going to build, and someone is going to maintain. The fifth kind of job is someone is going to finance. Okay. He's going to worry about money, you're spending it properly, the ratios are okay, costs are okay, profit will be there, tax is paid. Okay. So if you have these 5 disciplines in your mind, and you can have all 5 disciplines in one in the beginning, then as you get bigger and bigger, you create jobs in finance, you create jobs in construction, you create building, you create jobs in maintenance, you create jobs in sales. And there may not be one person selling, there may be 100 people selling. But as an entrepreneur, as someone who is starting something, you got to think of all 5. Because if you can't think of the whole process from A to Z, you cannot start a business. That doesn't mean you have to have all the skills. You can find that skill from a friend. Say, look, I'm not good at finance, so I'll find a friend who will advise me on finance. I'll give him 5% of the business. I'll go to my cousin for help in the beginning. Okay. I'll go to my friend who just graduated in finance and say, hey, can you help me 2 hours a week? So you also need to learn to mobilize resources as an entrepreneur. So you come up with an idea, you understand these 5 segments of the overall work. You have to think of who will do what for you, how can it be done. And at the end of the day, you have to make something that somebody wants to buy. That's the key in the business. Whether it is pakoda, chai, or 5-bedroom apartment complex or a car, even a plane, whatever you make, somebody has to buy. And that person has to pay more than what it took you to make. If he wants to buy at loss, you have no business. Okay. So it costs you 10 rupees to make it and he wants to give you 2 rupees, there's no business. So unless and until you find something that you can sell to somebody at more price than you took to make, you have a viable business. Because the purpose of business is to make profit. Then we'll talk about where that profit goes. That's a separate issue. But if you don't have profit, it's a non-starter. So how do young people think of these kinds of ideas and modify their behavior so that they are not constantly making resumes, sending 100 resumes and waiting for responses, but saying, hey, I'm capable. I can change things around. And I want to give you just some ideas of the opportunities. And I think there's just too many things to do in India which are not getting done because everybody is looking for a job and not looking to solve a problem. Entrepreneurship business is all about problem solving. And if a young person comes to me and says that I have no problems to solve, I'd be very disappointed. Yeah. There are too many problems to solve in your community. I was once in Kanpur, maybe 25 years ago, 20 years ago, and I see these cables hanging all over in the city. Electric cables and, telephone cables and you name it. And it is such a mess. Okay. It is fire hazard. It is ugly to look at. Okay. And life goes on. Nobody cares. You could have a very fancy building next to it. And then you look at all this wiring, and I said, what the hell is going on here? Okay. You go to anybody's house and go to electric section, connection, where there is electric box and switch box and all that. And it is always a mess. Okay. Whose job is that? All kinds of young people live in apartment. They never think of taking a day and cleaning it. I normally don't travel by train, but I remember last time when we had a train, we had to go to um, Gwalior. My wife and I, my two kids had to go to Gwalior to be with Madhav Rao Scindia. We had a dinner at his house, and he said the best thing is to take train. Let me tell you, we had first class compartment. As soon as I got into it, you know what I did? I spent an hour cleaning the compartment. I had a bucket of water, I had soap, and I just said, look, I can't sit here in this kind of a mess. And I told my wife and kids, I said, you guys just stand for a while. Okay. Then I fixed all the fans. Then I took a knife and took all the paint out of the window glass. They paint and half an inch outside, they just paint. Okay. By the time I was done, we were in Gwalior. You got to be obsessed at times with these kinds of things. I said, how can somebody sit in this compartment and look outside window when there is a 1 inch, paint all over that nobody has cleaned? But we don't see that as work. We think that's a normal thing. It's somebody else's job. Why should I do it? So entrepreneur always has to solve a problem, whatever the problem is. Yeah.
Sam, you want to go around the table?
I'm coming to that. I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to close it very soon. Okay. So Let me just give an example of what you can do in agriculture or entertainment, just these two industries. Okay. And we can do the same thing on sports. We can do the same thing in finance. We can do the same thing in, you know, health, education, digital systems, tourism, uh, footwear, cosmetics, architecture, management, you name it. Okay. But let's take agriculture as an example because it affects large number of people. All our farmers need to increase their income. Their approach is go to government and ask for minimum support income, which is fine, price, minimum support price and all. But I think younger people like you who have broader education can work with local farmers to really improve their productivity and efficiency. But you got to get down to their level. But none of the educated people talk to farmers. They sometimes look down on farmers. Think, okay, he's farming, I'm eating his vegetable, and that's it. But there are so many jobs that you could help create. I was talking to uh, Amrinder when Amrinder was Chief Minister of Punjab. And I said to him, he's a good friend, and I said, Amrinder, we should really change all the pumps of our farmers to digital pump because all our farmers have analog AC pumps. In Punjab, they pay $1 billion a year, $1 billion a year to Punjab farmers for free electricity. That's a lot of money. Can we convert all our farmers' pumps to solar powered digital pump, DC pump? DC pump has very few parts. DC pump is very easy to maintain. And if you put solar panel over a period of time, it'll pay for itself. But that can only be done by a younger person with the knowledge of solar panel and digital pump and all that stuff. Okay. You look at storage of agriculture produce, distribution, trade, financial services. A lot of these farmers don't know how to go to bank to get financing. Can young person organize these kinds of services for them? Water management, food courts. I mean, every city needs food courts, like Singapore has, where you go and all kinds of food is available in one place, and it becomes a night spot for people to come and visit. Okay. Um, just herbal gardens, urban gardens. Okay. Mixing multiple crops, drip irrigation, yeah. um, agriculture education, farm tourism. Okay. Organize farmers' health, organize their transportation. We have not designed the proper tools for our farmers. All our farmers' tools are obsolete. Chinese are selling new tools now. Similarly, in entertainment, I talked about theater district. There are all kinds of interesting new artists. How do you mobilize those? How do you collectively work with them? How do you get marketing for them? How do you know, um, monetize a poet in India? People don't know how to monetize a poet. Okay. Um, in a city, since I'm looking at Isha, I would say, Raipur, why isn't there a hot air balloon as a tourist attraction? Okay. Who will do that? A young person can say, okay, I'm going to get to a hotel balloon and have a, 50 rupees tour of Raipur or whatever city you are in, Jaipur, and you just take a hot air balloon tour. Every city should have it. People will pay, people will experience new things, and that's how you build things. But you got to think outside the box. We are not taught to think outside the box. If I was to tell all of you, those who are part of the core team, saying next week come up with 3 new business ideas, I'm sure you will. And that's, if we are 8 of you, 8 multiplied by 3 is 24 ideas, of which I assure you 2 ideas would be great. That's how it works. If you look for 20 ideas, 2 ideas ultimately go through the filter. That's how the pipeline works. But if you think first idea is going to be successful, it doesn't work that way. So I want to close this initial comments by saying there are huge opportunities around you. Just look and see what is that you want to solve. And you will find so many things to solve if you change your mindset and say, I am born to add value. I can add value here, I can add value there, I can add value here, and you don't have to be expert in anything. Okay. You can go to theater and figure out what needs to be done to theater. Whenever I give talk, and I give lots of talks, and you are sitting there in the podium, everybody's talking, introducing, and what do I do? So normally what I do is I count all the bulbs. I count every bulb in this auditorium theater. I count distance between bulbs. Okay. I look at the intensity of the bulb. Is this 100 watt? Is it 150 watt? Okay. I see how many fans are there. Because you got to do something. You're sitting there like an idiot. Somebody's talking, you're listening anyway. Or I count people. Yeah. Now, is it important? It gives me ability to measure things. I can go into any hall and say, okay, this is 890 square feet, which is pretty close. You build that ability over a period of time. I tell my grandchildren, I say, do you know the size of the window? I say, go measure it. Okay. How many people know the size of window in their own house? Except your architecture. Okay, if your architecture, that's different. But these are the kind of things you have to get used to it. Okay. And then your mind gets turned on. That's all I'm saying. Okay. And you got to train yourself to look for opportunities. Opportunities are all there, but they don't come and sit in your lap. You have to really look and create. With this, I'm going to open up for a broader conversation.
Thank you, Sam. I think I'll start with that first question. CNN mid of last year have posted an article. Too few jobs, too many workers, and no plan B. The time bomb hidden in India's economic miracle. In that, they started with the story of a person called Sunil Kumar out of Haryana, 28-year-old who have bachelor's and master's degree. He is currently sweeping the floors of a school to supplement because his side hustle as a tutoring young students. So he makes about $85 a month because kind of he couldn't find he want to just feed his family. So I think CNN has observed that this is a very grave some situation, and I think even that they have quoted other kind of thought leaders on the space. So just wanted to hear, so that there are a lot of qualified people not getting their jobs of their kind of caliber. So is it like they are also not finding a lot of job creators, but say the entrepreneurs getting supported? So how government can play a role? It's like credit support for the entrepreneurs, or what is missing actually?
There are a lot of things missing. Okay, it depends on where you point finger. Okay, I'm one of those who always points finger here. I am the problem. Nobody else is the problem. Everything else is given. Government is given, funding system is given, my family is given. I am the problem and I got to solve that. Okay. So my advice to that gentleman who is sweeping the floor is to start a company to sweep floors. Why sweep one floor? Go out, look for five other floors to be cleaned, hire three more people to clean. You are educated, you have master's degree, and don't complain and tell me that nobody's giving me a job. You got to say, I cannot find a job. There is a huge difference between these two things. You can always blame others. That's fine. Saying government is not creating jobs, we know that. Okay. Banks are not funding, we know that too. Okay. So you have to really fight that system to get things done. Okay. If you're not willing to fight the system and get things done, you'll never succeed. Okay. With all that education, if you can't find opportunity, don't look at job. Job is one piece, opportunity is another piece. Okay. So what you are saying is, unless you give me a job, you are not successful, government. Fine, I buy that. But I can't wait for somebody else to solve my problem. I may have told you this before, but I'll take a chance and repeat it again. You know, in 87, we used to go visit lots of villages as part of technology missions on immunization, water, literacy, and all that. So we were going to one Uttar Pradesh village, and normally when we went, I'll have 10, 11 people on my staff traveling with me, all the directors of the technology missions and this and that, and some media people. We go to this village, and then you can't go enough, so you have to walk, park all your cars, and then you walk. We walk a little bit, and in the process, there are dogs and kids in front of you, and everybody's all excited. We go to this village, and there are about 400 people there. And the head of the village had prepared his speech, which says, our gobar gas plant doesn't work. We don't have water. Our teacher ran away. Or this doesn't work, that doesn't work, and just went on and on and on with all the complaints, because he was told that the advisor to the prime minister is coming from Delhi and he will take this message to Delhi and all your problems will be sorted out. So when my turn came, I shook everybody up by saying, look, this is your problem. Why are you telling me? You got to solve your problem. Why do you expect somebody to come and solve your water problem? But somebody has told you that don't worry, somebody is going to come and solve your problem. And you know that for so many years, no one has solved your problem. So when do you take charge to fix your gobar gas plant yourself? When do you take charge to make sure that your teacher doesn't run away? So you got to change your mindset. Okay. So going back to the CNN story, it is true that jobs are limited. It is true that government has not created jobs. It is true that banks do not fund small and little guy. But it is not true that a graduate must only sweep floor. If that's what he wants to do, that's his privilege. But from sweeping floor, he can start a business. He can first feed his family, then move on, because he is educated. If he's really educated, he'll find opportunities. So
Sure, sir.
people have,
I'll
so
go
people
around
have
the
to stop blaming
sure
others.
thing.
Okay.
I'll go around the table. I'll start with maybe Priyamata. Go ahead, Priyamata. So you have some questions from the even the Twitter space. Go ahead, shoot.
Yeah, sir. Before I go to space, my question is, sir, how do you first solve the problem of funding, sir? Because what happens is when an individual or youngster he wants to, set up a business, he has like the first problem is how do I get funds, and also there is also a lot of question about ideas. I mean, So if he is also like, he wants really badly to set up, he is not a employment person, how does he solve the problem of funding if there is no support from um government and he doesn't find any help? So how what's your opinion on that?
Okay. Those who need money right now to live and survive on a day to day basis, they have limited options and they can't be without salary for 2 years, 12 months. Okay. So their situation is different. But there are people, and most of the people on the screen I see are okay if they don't get salary for a year or two, because their parents, their cousins, their brother in law, or somebody will support. If they knew that you are going to start a business, that you are taking 2 years, not twiddling your thumb and going on vacation, but you are working 20 hours a day to find right opportunities. Okay. And it is a 20-hour a day job as an entrepreneur. Okay. It is not 8 hours a day. Yeah. I tell many people that, I spent 60 years in IT and telecom, but it's almost like 150 years because I work Saturday, Sunday, it doesn't matter. And I've been doing it for as long as I know. Okay. I'm a workaholic. But to me, work has different meanings. Okay. This is work. Okay. So for those who are reasonably okay with a year or two, you give yourself a time limit, saying I'll be without salary for 2 years, a year, 6 months. Okay. And if they come up with an idea, I can tell you, you will find funding. If your idea is fundable, you will find funding. If you cannot find funding, you have to accept that your idea is not fundable. See, a lot of people say, I have a great idea, nobody wants to fund. So I tell them, you don't have a great idea. If you have a great idea, people will be lined up to fund. So at some point in time, you have to accept there are people who want to put their money to work. They are in your neighborhood, they are in your family, they are in your friend circle, they are in local banks. Okay, and you got to develop these relationships. You talk to 20 people and one will fund it. But you can't say I talk to three and they are all saying no. Normal ratio should be 1 to 10. When you start, you should assume that 10 efforts, one will succeed. And you get used to it. You have to learn to accept no as an answer. And it's not an insult. It is not about your personal, you know, success or failure. It's normal. So first time somebody rejects and throws you out doesn't mean a thing. Okay. Don't worry about it. Okay. Failure is a very important part of success. The line between success and failure is very thin. Okay. So failure meaning somebody saying, no, your idea is bad. It's okay. Go to somebody else. And in the process, you will learn how to talk to people, what is important to funder, what is not important to them. Okay. And all of these things add up. Okay. What you learn today would be useful to you again 10 years from now. Okay. But your mind has to be constantly on, looking at things and analyzing things. And, it's a turn on. Okay. It's like being on drug, to be very frank. Okay. It's excitement in life. There's not a dull moment. Okay. I don't need anything for entertainment. Okay. I don't watch anything. I don't, I see the entertainment around me. There's so many things going on. Okay. You have to train your mind differently. See, a lot of people get depressed. A lot of people are down in ditch. Okay. And you can't be successful. And success has a different meaning. Success is all about love. Success is all about work and fulfillment. At the end of the day, you say, am I happy? Good. Was this a good day today? Did I hurt anybody? Did I add value to somebody? Did I give a helping hand to an old person? Okay. That's what success is all about. So to answer your question, this is how I would present it, Priyodhan.
Okay. Thank you, sir. There is a question from Sridhar. Can you unmute and ask your question?
Yeah. Uh, Hello, sir. Sir, my question to you is like taking Priyamada's question on the funding part a bit further. A lot of people have ideas, but like basically they do not know whom to approach for. Like they don't know how to reach out to potential investors. They don't know how to like get some an angel investor. Or what would you advise them on how to even approach to know whom to ask or how to approach that? Because it's not always
Very good, very good question. At a local level, the best guy who can help you is local charter accountant. In your area, charter accountant knows who has money and who doesn't. Okay, because he's fighting everybody's tax. Okay. So I would find one local charter accountant, say, Bhai Saab, I'm a young guy, I have this idea, jara kuch madad kariye. He'll say, okay, bacha kya hai? And he'll beat you up a little bit and he'll ask you tough questions. And he said, no, 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 go back. Then you go back again to him, saying, sir, I can't find anybody else here. You are the only option I have. And he say, by the way, I know that Hiralal, he just made a lot of money in selling 5 apartments. And he will connect you. Okay, that's one idea. This is not the only idea. Okay. But I would approach with local charter accountant because he is the guy who knows local system and he will also know the banker. Okay, he'll connect you to the right banker if the person is good. Okay, most of the people want to help young people. Believe me, most of the people want to help young people. Okay, because they were young at that some time and they realized that they didn't get help. Okay, but you have to be nice and you have to be humble and you have to be simple and all that stuff. You can't go to charter accountant and tell him you don't know how to do your job and I'll tell you how to do your job. Okay, then it's a non-starter. So one is charter accountant, second is local banker. Go to local banker, sit down with him, have a cup of coffee. You're saying, look, sir, I have this idea. How can you help me? You got to work at it. Again, it is not going to come to you. You got to find it. Okay. And you can do it. I'm telling you, you can do it. Okay. Everything requires time, energy, and investment. Okay. You can do it. I saw a couple of texts.
There is a question from Ramji Mahadevan in Twitter.
Startups are not successful in congressional states government like Rajasthan, Congress. I don't think it has anything to do with party. It's all bogus. There's nothing to do with party. Yeah. It has to do with people. Okay. Who said that things are successful in BJP states or non-BJP state? It's bogus. Yeah.
Sumant Hegde from YouTube is asking, Narega is a successful scheme. Your opinion on Narega for urban areas?
I am big on Narega because I was part of the Sonia Gandhi's first National Advisory Council. Yeah. When Narega was discussed, formulated, I was there. And Aruna Roy and others took a great time and spent great time and energy to give it a shape along with everybody else. So I am big on giving poor people things to do. But those things to do has to be translated into community assets. There's no sense in giving them something to dig unnecessarily. But if they are building road, if they are building dam, if they are building water conservation scheme, then it makes a lot of sense because you are building community asset. So I'm big on Narega. I think Narega should be done at urban level also. Why just rural? Because slums are a big challenge in many cities in India. People live in pathetic conditions. I mean, you go to Mumbai and you see not just Dharavi, but all other slums around. You will see 20 crore apartment, and right next to it would be Jhupadpatti, because those are the people who go work for these rich people and don't get taken care of. Okay. So yes, going back to the Narega, I'm big believer in Narega.
Okay. Bala, you have any question? Bala, Isha. Go ahead. Bala, Isha, Umar. Bala, you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start, sir. My question is, as Sam sir said, how do you inculcate young minds to think and innovate ideas? Because most of our education system is built in a way that you study well, you get a job, you settle. How do you change this?
Only you can change it, Bala. Nobody can change it for you. Bala has to change. Bala has to feel inside, I'm educated. I'm not going to take job away from anybody. I'm going to create job. Bala is capable. Bala is different. Bala can take risk. Okay, Bala is going to explore. Bala is going to devote year of his time to explore new frontiers while he is young. Okay, and Bala is not going to blame anybody else for not finding a job. Okay, nobody else can do that for Bala. It has to come from within. If it doesn't come from within, you can't be an entrepreneur. Nobody can make you an entrepreneur if you don't want to be. Okay,
Yes, sir.
this is something nobody can thrust upon you. Okay, you may say, look, I want only government job where I just go to the desk and move this file, move that file, have coffee breaks, and just gossip all day. Then your die is cast. Okay. So you have to feel from inside that I am capable, and all of you are capable. Okay. I encourage young people, all young people, to experiment, try, and then you can always change your mind. Okay. But if you don't try, you don't get it. Most of the people are afraid of failures. But there is so much to learn in a failure, believe me. Okay. I have failed so many times. And it's okay. It's okay to fail. You know, it's perfectly normal to fail. If you don't want to fail, don't try. Okay. That's your option. Okay. See, it's like when we learn to walk, we fall as little baby. If you're afraid to fall, you'll never learn to walk. You know. So look at how nature is. And there are so many lessons to learn from nature. Okay. You got to learn your own things. Okay. Nobody teaches you certain things. So, okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Go ahead, Isha. You want to go next?
Sure, yes. Hi. Mine they're very specific to how I've been thinking, so it might need longer conversations, but I'll
Yes,
try
yes,
to
no problem.
um so the question basically pertains to, is scaling down a larger idea a good way to start it? So my interest is very focused in larger ecologies and environments and water systems. So those are very large, you know, those are large domains. But starting small with one water oriented public space, for example, so scaling that down and starting there, is that a good proof of concept? Is that one way that I should be thinking about this sort of larger network of water oriented public spaces, for example?
So you have to boil it down to a viable business model. Okay. As an architect, I think opportunities are limitless in India. If you just set up a company saying, I specialize in upgrading your house, That's all I do is upgrade your house. You want better facility? I am the person to talk to. I don't do, raw ground up design. As an example, saying if you want to build a house on a empty land, go to somebody else. But I do only modifications, or I worry about only your water issues. Okay, whether it is rainwater harvesting, to drip irrigation, to water management, to gardening your, you know, watering your garden, I do all that. So you first narrow it down to what is that you want to do, and then take one or two customers, because ultimately customer matters. Go convince two people that if I do this for you, you will make money, I'll make money, and everybody would be happy. It's a win-win situation. Try that on 2, 3 people. Then you have a working business model. Then you know that they'll pay more than what you're going to spend. Okay. In the beginning, when you are doing prototyping, of course, you'll have to spend more time, and it won't be cost effective. Because you're building the first model. But you have to see, if I scale it, it'll be profitable. Okay. So it's very simple. You got to take baby steps. Baby steps are very important in life. And don't think of boiling the ocean. I always tell young people, don't boil the ocean. I get all these business plans saying, oh, everything is going to go up and the whole world is going to use my product and there are 20 million customers already. I say, it's all bogus. Never happens. Okay. Just tell me 5 customers you will sell to. Tell me what these 5 will pay. What are you going to spend? And then we'll talk about 5 million. Okay. I don't want a hockey stick approach where everybody gives you a plan like this going up and tells you to hold the other end of the hockey stick. I want to hold the first end of the hockey stick. Okay. So try it out. Yeah.
Thank you, Shah. Umar, you want to go with your question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Your video is not viewable, man. In case you want to try that.
Sir, actually, I'm somewhere else. That's why my video is not on.
It's okay. That's fine. Go ahead.
So,
I thought your hair needs little work.
yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, my question is that India's economic slowdown has forced companies to cut expenses, including hiring efforts. How
Sure.
can we come out of this?
Well, it's a larger question. If economy is not doing well, people will not hire. Okay. That doesn't mean there are no opportunities. Okay. That doesn't mean you can't do new things. Economies go up and economies go down. Okay. Nothing is permanent. What goes up comes down, and what is down does go up. So you got to take a longer view. Okay. To bring economy on track is the job of the federal government, central bank, local businessmen, new policies. So it's a very complex structure. Okay. Today, economy may be doing bad. Tomorrow, economy might do well. Okay. The point is, you have to still survive in good economy or bad economy. You still have to eat. You still have to feed. You still have to, pay your bills. So whenever you do these things, you have to realize that there'll be good times and there'll be bad times. You need for rainy days backup. Okay. So you'll have to wait till the economy gets better if you're just waiting for a job. If the hiring season improve, then you'll be more comfortable. If hiring season doesn't improve, you won't get a job. Very simple.
being an I'm an let's be an example. I'm an entrepreneur. The problem is that the people of India don't have money. How can the entrepreneur grow up his or her business?
No, it is not true that people of India don't have money. People of India have a lot of money. Okay. I mean, look at the apartment cost in India. Okay. People have a lot of money. It's wrong to assume people don't have a lot of money. Look at the people who take vacations. Look at the people who buy new cars. Look at everything going on in India. How could you say people don't have money? You and I may not have money, but there are people who have lots of money. Okay. They spend, lakh rupees a day in a hotel. So they have money. India is rich. Indians may not be rich. India is blessed with great fertile land, great entrepreneurship for generations, trade, art, craft, culture, music, language. This is all wealth. Wealth is not just what is in the bank. Okay. So India is full of capital. Look at money you find in temples. Okay, some South Indian temple, there were 4 doors and one door was open and they found some $15 billion of gold. You have to find that. You have to connect with people. Okay. You can't say India doesn't have money. I don't buy that. I'm sorry. Okay. I know I disappoint you probably, but India is rich.
On TN Upadhyay from YouTube was asking, how can we increase employment in our country? We are seeing young people in our society are sitting empty without work. There is a huge increase.
There are many elements to increasing employment. One is government policies. Okay. The conversation we are having for last 2 sessions is all about this, that if you want to create jobs, you got to change your paradigm. Your paradigm today is top down, big multinational companies, big factories. And I am saying change it to decentralization, SME, local talent, local capabilities, local needs. There's a huge difference. This is not just conversation. You got to think about the difference in thinking. Okay. What I'm saying is, if you are in Telangana, think of jobs in Telangana and not in Srinagar or not in Mumbai. Don't go to Mumbai looking for a job from Telangana because there are 10 million more or 5 million more looking for a job in Mumbai. Okay, then you'll wind up in slum. You'll be frustrated. There are local opportunities. Local government will have to focus on local opportunities. So you got to create jobs in construction. You got to create jobs in service industry. I mean, in India, you can create your own restaurant of a special type that nobody has seen. I mean, I I don't know why we don't have Mexican restaurants in India. Okay. Chain. You may have one or two here and there. Okay. 40 years ago, I went to a Mexican embassy and I said, look, there was no Mexican restaurant then in 80s. I said, why didn't you guys, Mexican government, create a chain of Mexican restaurants as an example? I mean, you may like Mexican food, you may not like it, it's a different issue. Okay. But there are so many things to do of your own. Government has to do their thing. Banks have to do their things. All of this has to be in sync to create new jobs. And new jobs at low investment can only come from uh, construction, agriculture, I have this little chart that I was looking at recently. Okay. This chart says, oops, I'm sorry. This chart is a pretty interesting chart. Okay. It says share of US employment exposed to automation by artificial intelligence. Very, very interesting. Okay. It says 50% of the legal, office, architectural, and business and financial operation jobs will disappear because of AI. Okay. 50%. Okay. What will not disappear is installation and maintenance because AI can't do that. Construction, AI can't do that. Food preparation, personal care, okay. All these jobs are going to remain intact. Yeah. So you got to look at future. You can create lots of job in India in construction. I think for next 20 years, if as a nation we focus on improving people's homes, beside agriculture and all that, okay, because people don't have good homes. I mean, I grew up in a 3-room house with 8 kids. Okay, I don't know how we did it. I can't even think nowadays like that. You know, but people do, and people are comfortable. But they can be more comfortable if they have more space, better furniture, better arrangements, better cooking facility, and millions of in India people need better living conditions. That's a huge opportunity. Yeah. Okay.
I think, yeah, that's about it, Sam. And I see. Are there any other questions, team?
Yeah, so there's one more from Ilyas. There's a comment from Ilyas. He's saying that polarization has ruined, the youths, especially from the minorities, to set up any business. Like the polarization and the communal hatred in the country has spoiled environment for these youngsters. So, just your comments on that.
I agree with it completely. I firmly believe that if you want better employment opportunities, better business opportunities, you need peace and harmony first, everywhere, between communities, within communities, between cities. You can't have cities burning and people fighting and hope to have successful business. Yeah. You can't just go and beat somebody up because you don't like them and destroy their shop, okay, because they practice something else. Yeah. This is hoodlums. So democracy is very important for sustainable business because democracy implies justice, freedom, fraternity, okay, liberty. All of these are important concepts, not just for minority, but for everybody. Everybody should be treated with respect. Doesn't matter what religion they practice, what food they eat. I was just reading something that in Gujarat they won't rent you home if you are non-vegetarian. I mean, what kind of a system is that? Okay, I mean, but they think it is normal. Okay, I am free to eat what I want to eat. Yeah. I admire Chinese who eat frog, just bite it, and I really admire them when they eat, you know, scorpions. That's okay. All right. That's what diversity is all about. So, going back to your question, yes, it is not right to discriminate people, disturb peace, and it's not good for business and jobs.
Yeah, I want to sum up the conversation today with a recent comment by US envoy Eric Garcetti. He mentioned India's poor business policy is Vietnam's gain. And he said India must relax export controls and intellectual property is not protected in India. So I think he was talking about in general the theme around India is losing overseas investment to Southeast Asia because of the poor business environment and opaque laws. So, and he has recommended the Prime Minister Narendra Modi to undertake huge economic reforms. And he also mentioned about foreign direct investment is not flowing in India at the pace it should be. Instead, it should go into Southeast Asia, countries like Vietnam. What are your thoughts?
First of all, okay, he's right, but that's not the only game in town. Okay, it is not about foreign direct investment. See, this is again East India Company mindset. Okay, I don't need foreign direct investment to solve a lot of my problems. Okay. It'll be nice to have foreign direct investment. I'm not discouraging it. But I'm saying there are a lot of things that need to be done that don't require anything else but local talent, local people, local raw material to solve local problem. Okay. Let's tackle that. And don't assume that for India to thrive, you need only foreign investment. Okay. And India to thrive, you need only export. It's a different view of the world. Okay. It is a top-down approach. I'm talking about bottom-up approach. I'm talking about Gandhian approach to economy. Okay. And I have a problem with top-down approach. Okay. And we got to try both. Yeah.
Sounds good, Sam. I think maybe
don't get into this trap of a Westerner telling us what needs to be done. It is good to have that input. I respect that. But think for yourself and see what is that you need to do. Get everybody's help. But don't get overwhelmed with external input and follow only one path.
Sure thing, Sam. You have championed entrepreneurship as one of the primary drivers or solution for this whole employment and unemployment issue. Maybe next week we can try see how entrepreneurship can help in multiple sectors, like at least small scale entrepreneurship or self-employment kind of entrepreneurship route can help in multiple sectors. Maybe we can discuss ideas around multiple sectors.
In India, there are huge number of clusters. I mentioned that earlier. Pharmaceutical cluster in Ahmedabad, bamboo cluster in Agartala, furniture cluster in Kerala, okay, food processing cluster in Telangana. All these clusters require young talent because these cluster guys are traditional SMEs. They don't get young MBA to go and work for them because young MBA wants to go work for Citibank, okay, or State Bank of India. So as I have been saying for a long, long time, that best brains in the world are busy solving problems of the rich who really don't have problems to solve. And as a result, problems of the poor don't get the right. I mean, this statement is very important to understand. Yeah. We need local MBA to go solve the local problem now and not go and work for Chase Bank or something. Yeah. How many local MBAs go help cluster people, SME people? If I was local MBA in town, and I'll go to all the small and medium scale industry guys saying, okay, let me look at your business. This is how you can improve your productivity, efficiency. I'll work with you to improve your marketing. And if you get more money, pay me. Okay. It could be win-win situation for everybody. They don't know how to market sometimes. They get used to their style of doing a business. Okay. I have a relative in Raipur. My sister lived in Raipur. So I know Raipur pretty well. My sister's son's daughter went to Australia, got an MBA, and came back to Raipur. And she's helping her dad. I know her dad, who is very old time in the mindset. Okay. This girl will modernize his business. His dad can't do it. Okay. Because he's just structured to think one way. This young kid is going to go and shake things up. And you need those kinds of interactions. Okay. She'll bring modern techniques, modern tools. She'll manage it properly. Ultimately, it's going to go to her anyway, and her sister as an example. But in the process, that transformation will take place. She can go take a job at a bank and ignore her father and let her father do the same thing that he's been doing for ages. And that's an example. And lots of kids can do that in their family. But their family also expect them to go get a job. Okay. And family means not just parents. Family means your, network of cousins and uncles and aunts and aunties and poopas and poopies and everybody. Okay. Extended family. It also includes neighbor in India. Yeah, of course. That's what family is. In India, everybody, I remember when we were kids. In fact, when my kids were very young, we took them to India. I was traveling, but my wife was there. And some neighbor guy would come and take my son and just go off on a scooter someplace. Okay. And everybody will panic. But that's India. Okay. It's okay. He thinks this is my kid. America has come back from America. Sam's kid is, so he just gets him ice cream. Okay. And that's the beauty of India. That's what I like about India. Okay. So when we talk about family, it is an extended family I'm talking about. Yeah.
No, sounds good, Sam. Maybe we will talk.
Before we close, maybe we can ask everybody whether this was useful, because you are my customers. Okay.
So what do you guys, Bala, Isha, Priyamada, Umar, what do you guys think about discussing entrepreneurship next week?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, sure. It's nice. It was a great session today.
The 5-pointer of idea, job, barter selling, everything was very useful.
Okay.
Sam, if we're your customers, what are you getting out of
Yeah,
this?
actually.
I'll tell you what I'm getting. It's a very good question, Isha. I feel at my age, I'm 82. Yeah. I have great kids. I have best of the best kids. I have 2 kids, and they are on their own. They don't, I won't say listen to me, but they don't need me. Okay. And these are all my kids. You're my kids. Bala is my kid. Okay. And that's how I feel. Okay. Bala may not like it. Okay.
I like you very much, sir.
Tough luck. But that's how I feel. Okay. I feel that I left so many people behind in my own family, in my own friend circles. And I moved so fast somewhere out there. And I want to help as many people as I can. I don't need anything. I don't do anything. I have no expense. I have zero expense. I have no credit card. I have no bank account. I use my wife's credit card. Okay. I don't buy anything. I never go shopping. My wife buys my shoes. My wife buys my shirt. She'll say your socks are, Birds will go by. Other I wear same socks with hole. I don't care. I have no need. I don't go to clubs. I don't play golf. I don't go to, bars. I don't do anything. So to me, this is a privilege to be able to talk to my children, future generation, and share. They might like it. They may not like it. Okay, some people may not like me, which is okay, perfectly normal. You know, but I feel I'm connecting with you. That keeps me young also. I want to understand your challenges. I want to help you. And I don't need anything in return. I don't need praise. I don't need, degree. I don't need award. I got too much. Okay. It's time for me to give. I'll just show you, just to give an idea. Okay. I should show you, but I will show you. These are my pens. Okay. Oops. These are pens. Okay. I got 50 watches. I got 20 Mont Blanc pens. What do I do with all this stuff? Okay. My children don't even use pen. They don't wear watch. So I'm in the process of giving things up. But I like my fountain pens. I have pens like these pens. Okay. Yeah, I use these pens. Okay. And I doodle and I do things, and like I'll show you. See, while I'm talking to you, I'll doodle.
Wow.
Wow, that's nice.
I have 10,000 of these. 10,000 of these. Yeah. Why do you do it? Because it's interesting to do it. You're crazy. Okay. So I'm getting a lot from you all. I feel good. If one of you build a business, I'd be very happy. Okay. And I want to connect with more and more young like you because you are the future of India. India is in a mess because they have not allowed young people to flourish. I look at all these guys in government and politics and all. Sometimes I feel sorry. They're pathetic. Okay. When there are all kinds of interesting young kids. See, one nice thing in America is every politician has 5 young people on the team. Every MP, every senator, sorry, every congressman has 5 young people like you guys who make things happen. They tell senator what to say, when to say, how much to say. They do all the white papers. They do all the research. They basically drive the system. We don't have it.
We
When
should.
I was,
We
yeah,
should actually.
they are given money. See, every MP is given 5 crore, 4 crore, whatever number is. They should be told that that money should only be used on young talent. That every MP should have 5 people like you who give them input, advice, work with them, set their meetings, run their show. But they don't do it. When I was working with Rajiv, I had very good young team. I had 2 key people who were smarter than I was. Okay, and helped me. Jairam Ramesh was my chief of staff. Okay, Jairam worked with me for 6 years. And there's another guy called Dr. N. Ravi, PhD, MBA, IIT graduate. They were young and they really made me who I am. Okay, and a lot of credit goes to young people. We succeeded at C dot because of a lot of young people. They did all the work. So I'm getting a lot from you guys. Okay, so relax. Okay.
Sounds
So
good.
Sam, I'm feeling very supported.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Bala, keep it up, okay? Don't give up. And it's
Sure,
for Bala,
sure.
for Umar, and it's for everybody.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, guys. Love
Thank
you.
you.
See you next week.
Sorry. So next week, what are we like? We should be discussing more on entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Okay, I'll give you 2, 3 examples of how companies were built. Okay. And what happened and how, it goes up and down and just as a case study, and then we'll explore it further.
Sam's own life, I think he has And
Oh, I build lots of companies. I built 20, 30 companies. Okay.
So I think we got to saw the
Yes, sir,
successful
actually.
part. So I think we have never heard of those whatever the sob stories. It's kind of there are a lot of defeats behind those successes, right? I think that's what I think people should hear, Sam.
Has to be what goes up must come down.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's okay. That's life.
Sounds good, Sam. So we'll talk next week, Sam.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for your time, sir. Thank you.
Bye.